Hey, what's up, graded Serial Virgin Gang? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Today's cards that I actually pulled. Yes, I pulled this card recently. I didn't buy it or something like that. Didn't get in the mail. I actually pulled this card myself. It's going to be this Meowscarada SAR right there. Had a box of Triplet Beat that was just kind of sitting around for a little bit. I was like, I'm just going to treat myself. Going to open a nice little box of that. Ended up pulling this card. It was great. Had a great time opening it. Not quite as good as the Quaquaval. The Quaquaval is definitely top tier. Quaxley's best starter from Paldea. Guess there's a bunch of Fuecoco fans out there. I don't necessarily get it, but yeah, each their own. The Meowscarada is nice, though. It's a nice SAR. One less thing I have to buy, of course. So, the thing I'm going to talk about today, it's not even necessarily so much about the actual thing. It just proposes an interesting question. Of course, it's grading companies. Once again, you already saw the thumbnail. You already kind of get the gist of what this is about. But it goes a little bit deeper than that, in my personal opinion, because of just how many people are actually into grading. The actual market for how people are grading cards has changed, and what people's interests possibly are in those graded cards. New people walking in this hobby every day. Maybe this is genuinely how people feel. Maybe people genuinely care about this aspect over others. So we're going to look at this real quick. So right here, this is once again by the Fine Card. Thank you so much. This was a weird thing to just kind of look at right here. So up at the top, you got by the grade, slashed out the card, of course, but it's by the grade. You have a PSA 9 versus PSA 10 in the case. So right there, you're seeing both. You got your PSA 9, PSA 10. This is the Gold Star Rayquaza in Japanese. This is, Blue Sky Clash or whatever set that was. Coming out of that straight up, you got your 9, you got your 10. That's a big old price difference you're sitting at right there. You got 4,000 for the 9, and then you got basically 12,000 for the 10. It's 11,700 specifically. The pop ports are also there. They're both still relatively low, sub 100 each. This is, of course, by PWCC, whatever. This is one thing I don't necessarily like about the actual post itself. It goes into great detail, and what we're looking at right here is the breakdown of how the actual 10 looks, the backing for it. They don't do this with the 9, so we can't actually see the condition of the 9 itself. But the 10, we can look at this a little bit closer, and what we see right here is this is kind of a beat up 10. You got several wearing edges right there. I mean, there's fucking like nicks up at the top. The left side's got some bad stuff, the corner, but that right side's got a solid line of whitening. And the card to me does not definitely look like a 10 or what I would imagine 10 standards to be. However, maybe PSA was just having a bad day that day. Maybe fucking someone got an old jerk job. Maybe someone actually got paid off to grade this at. I don't know. Don't take me to court. I'm just fucking speculating here. That's definitely not what I would imagine a 10 being, though. Those edges that wear. And I mean, there's just straight up a nick right there up at the top, right above that little lightning energy on the back of the card. That's just absurd. And this is just the back of the card. This isn't even what we're looking at with the front. Anything with the hollowing, anything with the pictures. So it would have been super cool to see the 9, though. I really would have liked to actually see the backing of that too, and whatever, that's fine. The 10. What I think is kind of weird is up at the top, it is by the grade, and the card is slashed out, where it's implying that people are fucking more interested in actually buying a grade than they are for buying a card when it comes to that stuff. And for the people that are still actually stomping around in the graded community, I'm very curious if that's true or not. See, if I was to get back into grading, which I definitely won't, I will definitely be grading my own cards. I'm not buying slabs or stuff, anything like that anymore. I had someone I bought them from before, and they're still in the community. They're still good and stuff like that, but I'm just not, I don't have that interest anymore with how the grading companies have shifted. And if I did it at this point, it would definitely be me fucking sending in my own cards and getting those graded and encapsulated, right? But I'm curious, are people actually more interested in the casing that's in it than the card itself? Like, imagine you have a PSA 10 like trophy card, like you have a Shining Charizard or something like that, or just any crazy card you wanted. Like, it says it's a PSA 10. You look at the card, right? The front looks okay. You flip it over, and it's just got obvious damage. There's like a catch-up stain. Someone like left a dick imprint on the back of it. Like some kid like put a little marker dot on it. You can see where someone like altered the card and like drew on the edges to get it to where it looks a little better. Like, you can tell, right? But it's in a PSA 10 slab, right? Are you still good with that? I'm just curious how people are actually feeling about that, because in my personal opinion, that just makes it seem like the grading companies aren't really up to par 100% of the time. Sure, they do a good job here. There's good graders here. There's good graders there. But I mean, that standard across the actual company, or what the company is trying to, portray for the entire thing, it's definitely not evident in that case right there. I mean, like, straight up, oh, the wear of it, what if the card was moved around or something like that? Bro, there's like a chip, like a little nick on the back of the card, right? So that, I'm pretty sure that was there before the whole thing. The edges, sure, whatever, but that fucking spot right there, dude, I'm telling you, that was definitely put on there. And it could have been before PSA and grading the cards and like all that shit kind of took off, man. But are people really more interested in that? Like, how are people more interested possibly in the slab than the card? And I'm going to tell you why I think some people might be. It's the prospect of that sale price. I mean, you saw the 4,000 versus the 12,000. That's why people are actually willing to alter their cards too. Actually color them in and fucking shave them down, do all this fucking sketchy stuff to potentially ruin your cards in order to get a better grade, right? That's why people polish them. That's why people do all this other crazy stuff that, to beyond me, I'm still not really quite sure how people correlate like the polishing of sports cards to Pokemon cards without a protective layer, like the glossy sports cards. It baffles me. But whatever, your cards, your choice, you're fucking right. It's 2023. Do what you want. Are there people genuinely more interested in the grade than the card? Like it's in a 10, but the card looks like shit. Would you be okay with that? I wouldn't be okay with that. And that's just my personal take on it. If you were more interested in that, just feel free to let me know in the actual comments. It's just a very weird phenomenon to me, and I get it. It's money, it sells and all that stuff. But for so many collectors here, I'm just curious how that fares for you. If you're cool with that, if you're good with that sitting on your mantle, someone comes over and they're like, yeah, just, oh, you can look at the front of the PSA 10. Don't look at the back of that shit, though. Don't look at the back of that. That's not what it looks like when fucking Homer's got all his fat taped up on the back. Looks like that for a card. I'm just curious, man. Like, I like good cards. I like good, solid, near mint cards. The actual definition for what people think near mint is nowadays has significantly changed with all the new boots in here. And all the people fucking selling stuff and be like, oh yeah, bro, this is near mint. There's like fucking damage on the back. There's like a crease. Looks like someone credit carded that shit in like a sewage drain or something. It looks like shit, but it's somehow near mint with an asterisk next to it. It's like parts of it are near mint. Well, it's not near mint in that. I don't know. You get the point. I'm not going on a tangent about near mint and grading shit right this second. Just let me know. Are people more interested in the card or the grade? What do you think more people are actually interested in? Let me know how you feel about that, of course. It's an open conversation, open forum. I know I don't usually do this too much. You just point at people and talking at them. I'm curious. I want to know. And it's just interesting way to show it. That's all I got. Appreciate it, Virgin. See you later. Hope you're having a good night. Have a good one.